What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Bobby Fi and Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking through this NBA 7-game slate. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit behind in terms of getting together. But my first thoughts here are just not really a ton of like value that I feel great about. But we'll see what happens. It's the NBA, so there's a lot left to go. Sheets, how was your weekend? And then we'll get into the.
Let's talk about how the week finished up for me last week, because it was
a
pretty sick run I had. So I enjoy kind of the great irony of how it all happened. So on forget the days, but I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday, I built live and won the lottery on FanDuel for like $50,000, and then the next day on DraftKings, I got second in the lottery there for $25,000, 4 points away from first, which should have been $100,000. But I didn't quite get there, or whatever. But the funniest thing about it is when I tweeted on that result, and I'm like, not bad. I hope they pay me in time to do my to get my League of Legends lineups in. And I did a live League of Legends lineup stream for that also, and ended up winning that also.
That's sick, man.
Yeah, so that was a good run. So then I went to so this is kind of funny. So I went to Mohegan Sun with my wife yesterday. We saw Billy Joel and just went for the night. But I put my MMA lineups in before I left or whatever, and then I woke up on Sunday. I'm like, you know what? Let me put some NASCAR stuff in also, whatever. And it wouldn't let me put it in. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's no freaking way. I mean, I know that I thought that it was legal in Connecticut, whatever. So I did a search. I'm like, where is DraftKings legal? This is Connecticut too. So what the hell? So I emailed DraftKings. I'm like, is there something wrong with my account? They're like, yeah, you're in Connecticut, but you're in the Indian reservation. So,
oh my God.
So there's a difference between non-Indian reservation Connecticut.
Oh my God!
National Connecticut. So I had to wait till I got out of the jurisdiction, whatever. But it was pretty funny. I'm like, wait a minute. I know I'm in Connecticut. I know it's legal here. Why are they not letting me put my lineups in? Anyway,
that's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah. So DFS was fun. We were just talking about, you used to go up there. The boat was able to get into the air. I'm like, yeah, the Indian reservation thing. I experienced that situation.
That's crazy.
So I just ran lineups and I just ran projections as well. So we will just kind of see what we have. So as far as like my projections, we'll go game by game.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, I don't know, 3 guys that are 6X-ish. One of them just like atrocious guy. Not atrocious guy, whatever. Just always an atrocious play for me. Right. And we'll get to him shortly. And like I said, the value is not. It's just not great. Okay, but we will. We shall see.
Yeah. This is it's going to be an interesting one. All right. We're going to start it off with Brooklyn. I mean, I'll just share my screen real quick. We're going to start off with Brooklyn and Washington, and our old friend back in our lives. Brooklyn's got a lot of weird stuff going on, but. Killian Hayes is now. I think you're the only person. Like, I remember you winning tournaments with Killian Hayes, but I think you're like the only person who ever did it.
I think so.
And it's just weird to see him. I mean, he's starting. He's 4,100. Brooklyn tends to play their guys, like spread out like the mid 20s minutes basically for everybody. It feels like, but I think it's kind of interesting, like right off the bat, that it makes some sense to have a little bit of exposure to some of this Brooklyn stuff. I think Watford would be my favorite of the Brooklyn stuff. But if I end up with some Zaire, if I end up with some Claxton, Brooklyn's not a team where I hardly ever want to target anybody, just because I feel like they just spread all the minutes out and they don't really let anybody play 30. I'm just gonna look at the projections right now. Yeah, the only one projected to play over 30 is Claxton, and I'm not sure that even happens. Oh, Cam Johnson is the one who will play over 30. That's the only one. Everything else is going to be somewhat spread out. So they look pretty good because the pricing and everything. And it's a great matchup. It's just hard to know.
Was Killian Hayes like a first overall pick or something?
He was like the 6th or 7th overall pick, but a lot of guys had the number 1 on their boards. Just hasn't worked out for him for whatever reason. He's one of the Frenchmen who hasn't worked out for. And the Frenchman on the other side, it has.
I'm currently getting some guys from Brooklyn in my builds. I'm getting about. I mean, right now, whatever, it's early, but a 30% trend in Watford, and then 23% Nick Claxton, who you always seem to get. I'm not quite getting to the Killian Hayes, but I don't. I think something like that might have upside. Like I don't know. Like against Washington, pretty much everybody's got upside, and like I said, he's got lottery pick back class, I guess.
Yep.
So you never know. That it's not like the Nets can be particularly stingy with who they put at these positions.
Yeah.
So if he's playing well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's not the worst. That's a pretty good play, actually.
I think it may.
Washington, nothing. I think Sarr was out yesterday or something. I don't know how that's going to impact today, but
he was out yesterday.
Yeah, right now, I'm not really getting too much.
I'm going to bet that was just because they're just sitting him. We'll see. But I would play Sarr if he plays, and he, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was on that beautiful lineup of yours on Friday. So I'll go right back to the Sarr. But in this game, I'm not really going to change projections much for anybody. If there was anybody I'd make an exception for, it might be Sarr because I think he's got a lot of upside. But I think you're going to end up with some Brooklyn, especially if we don't hear about other value later today.
I'll tell you who not my hero, but I'll tell you who really racked up the fantasy points for me. Not on the FanDuel night, on the DraftKings night, was Jalen Duren. And that guy.
He went nuts.
He went ballistic.
Yeah.
And like all dunks, but whatever. They just kept looking for him. It was great. I just saw Larry Markkinen is doubtful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. It's Utah, so if there's one thing that's guaranteed every morning is that we're going to have some questionable doubtfuls, and then somebody's not going to play basically every morning. That's what happens while we're on air. So we'll see. But getting into the Chicago-Philadelphia, Kevin Huerter is one of those pieces of value that it makes sense, but like I'm not like excited about it. Also, I think the ownership will be really high, and I probably am going to eat some of it. My favorite play here is Lonzo. I think there's a lot to like from some of these guys. I think Vooch is reasonable. I think Giddey's reasonable. I think White is reasonable. But my favorite is Lonzo, and then my long shot play here would be Buzelis, and I'm probably going to be around with the field on Huerter. That's the one I'm looking at right now. And on the other side, I think the projections are just all messed up because they have Embiid as doubtful, but he's got that hedging projection. So assuming that Embiid is in fact out, I do think we want to get some Kelly Oubre. I do think that Maxey makes sense. He's down to 9K now. And hold your breath. Paul George might also be in play as well as Yabusele. So once the projections update with Embiid out, we'll know a lot more about this game. But as of right now, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, the Chicago, and you hit that right on the head. That was that with respect to Kevin Huerter. I mean, he was the guy I said is a value that's showing up as a top play that I'd rather not play.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I mean, you're just getting to him. I'm probably going to be market weight on him, presuming that everything kind of holds. But I'm also in pretty lock agreement with you on Lonzo. I have like 40% of him.
Yeah.
So so we're both on that train, and then also I'm getting quite a bit of Vooch as well, of old Vooch, I guess, old Vooch as well. So yeah, all three of those guys. On Philly, wait a minute.
You're gonna get some stuff once Embiid is the
I mean, right now, I'm getting 72% Quentin Grimes.
Wow, that seems like a lot.
It does, doesn't it?
But
I also have projected like 5 points higher than Saberson does. So
yeah,
that's going to be a reason, I guess.
I think that your projections are factoring Embiid being out too.
I guess so. Yeah,
would be my guess. But
yeah, I have 0 for Embiid.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the argument for Grimes, I mean, he's been good as a Sixer. So it's not been the same, just play defense, don't do anything else type of guy like that we've seen in the past.
Right.
So he's making a little more sense by the minute. I think you're gonna get a lot from Philadelphia today without Embiid. Is Yabusele showing up in your projections? Let's see.
I'm having with like 26.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's going to be I think by the end of the day, people will start to. We'll see where it ends up. I have a feeling it's going to end up higher most places than that, but we'll see. I do like the Yabusele play quite a bit. I mean, this is the Bulls. They still play fast. They don't play defense. And I think we're gonna. I think especially with if Embiid's out, and if anything happens to Maxey, it basically becomes like a one game, like Philadelphia. You were playing like probably 3 or 4 from Philadelphia. All right. For some reason, they're saying that Denver's lineup is out. This is just a mistake because I don't think Denver's released the lineup out yet. But what do you like in this one? Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not getting too much of the big guys. Like I think like 12% of Jokic. I guess they're healthy, so that's that's why. And really not too much of Indiana either. Like the top owned guy I'm getting at Indiana is Miles Turner at only 8%. So this game, despite it being a close game and high total, was sort of a pass for me. I guess just everybody's healthy.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's probably worth like if you're playing 150, playing some of the Porter Jr. I actually could see him in this matchup being really good. Playing some low owned Jamal Murray, some Westbrook, some Jokic, some Gordon. I think all of them, just because the matchup is so pure, like are worth like taking shots on. But I don't really have a decided preference. And they're all healthy, like you mentioned, so it's a little bit harder to get to them. But I would love to take advantage of this great matchup. And look, Miles Turner on the other side is my favorite piece. And I have no issue with Halliburton or Siakam, but nobody I'm going out of my way for. In fact, there's nobody we've talked about yet today that I actually like. I'm going to do my projection changing thing in certain cases. I haven't come across anybody we've talked about yet that I actually want to change their projections.
Well, it's funny. It's like these 12 o'clock projections are so funny. Like right now, and we'll get to him. Like the guy I have the most exposure to is a guy who's not going to be playing. So
right.
I my current run is 84% Larry Marketing. So
that's funny. All right, LA and Detroit. Anything for you here?
Nope. Right now 6% Kawhi just because, and any Detroit, not a single Piston right now.
So I'm kind of confused. This is the first one that stands out to me as maybe being a little bit low. I don't really know why Kawhi's projection isn't better than this. It feels like it should be. The Pistons don't play great defense. They've actually been much better as a team overall, as we've talked about a number of times. But this is the first guy I want to go ahead and at least bump him up a little bit. I don't think I think his projection should be right near 40, and 37 is, look, I tell everybody, hey, look, you may not think it makes a bunch of difference. If we've been doing some of the late shows in the Discord, and you change somebody's projection by a point or two, and all of a sudden you go from getting 5% to getting 60%. You know what I mean? Yeah. It really does make a difference. So I think Kawhi is being a little underprojected. Love Zubac here actually, but he's got a healthy price center. I would consider bumping him up a little bit. But those are the two that I would focus on. Norman Powell had a big game the other night. He's questionable tonight. I assume that he's going to play, but we'll see. And then look, I really can't make a great case for anything on Detroit. It would just take an outlier-ish game. And Cade Cunningham plays well in tough games. So if you can get to him, I wouldn't mind some of it, but nobody I'm getting to currently on Detroit. But I do think the Clippers side with the Zubac and the Kawhi are definitely a little bit interesting to me, to maybe try and force a little bit of that in. All right, 7:30 game, Miami and Atlanta. What do you got here, Sheets?
I got a projection on Tyler Hero's, all well and good enough. So he's fine. Also, just kind of looking for anything. Bam, the usual, just okay. Actually, just okay projection. Usually looks better. George Niang, 4,100. 4,300 maybe. I don't know. This whole game again seems kind of not so great.
I'm gonna go. This is another one I want to do. I probably will bump up everybody on Miami. Everybody feels too low, with the exception of Andrew Wiggins. I just think that there's a lot of upside here. By the way, Wiggins has been very good so far with the high usage and everything as a member of the Heat. So he is. It's justified the price and getting some ownership at that price. However, I just think the other guys are just too low. I would like to get to some Bam. I would love to get to some Hero. Remember, we got to treat the certain matchups like they're gold, and this is a gold mine matchup. And it's like, since Jimmy Butler's been gone, it's not like Heroes and Bam's price has gone up enough. Now, it's not that they get there every single night, but they have like monster ceilings. And you put them in a matchup like this, I think you kind of have to go out of your way. Tyler Heroes, look at his game log. I'll bump. I'm just going to bump him right away, just because this is not right in my opinion. Tyler Hero, he put up 67. Yeah, was it yesterday? Maybe that's the reason why they don't want to do it. He played 39 minutes yesterday. That's rough, and this is the third in 4 nights too for them. But before that, 44. Before that, 60 again. Like, I just think that there's a lot of upside here, and I would like to try and go out of my way to play these guys at low ownership. So I have Miami as a whole team of something I'm going to do something with. Hero coming off the massive night. I know Sheets would want to get away from something like that. I personally am going to keep gambling. Miami needs to win games, and they're trying. Atlanta on the other side, for me, I can't really quite get to anything. A bunch of meh plays that if I ended up with, I'd be okay. My favorite play probably Dyson Daniels, but probably not going to get to anything from Atlanta.
One guy that I just really glossed over who is now showing up for me a lot better is you mentioned him earlier, and that would be Paul George in that Philly game.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of glossed over the Philly side for a minute, but yeah, I'm actually getting quite a bit of him. I don't even think it's projection update. I just kind of missed it. So yeah, he's going to look pretty good.
He's going to look good, and we're going to say to ourselves, what the hell are we doing playing a guy who literally has not gotten there since, as you would say, the Eisenhower administration?
Yeah.
All right, Minnesota in Oklahoma City.
Just unfortunately another game where I just have not much to say. I mean, a 1% Anthony Edwards, big spread. I don't know, just nothing.
I'm in on Edwards here. Hasn't been lower than 48 in 10 games. Any competitive game they play, they absolutely need him. And there's no way that this game can be competitive, in my opinion, without him having a big game. So they're either going to get completely blasted, and I'll know right away I'm dead, and I mean, they'd have to get blasted. Like, Edwards will stay in there if they're down 20. You know what I mean? It's just the 30 points that you're not going to get from him. The problem is he did play 38 minutes yesterday versus the same team, and he put a 57. So if you're going to bet on him playing again, I just don't know why his projection. I think it should be higher. Edwards is one I'm going to go out of my way for tonight. And if I think it can stay close, then you could make an argument for Shea and Jalen Williams on the other side, but probably going to be a stay away from me on the Oklahoma City side. But I do have Edwards as one of the guys who I'm going to go out of my way, make a priority today.
Do you like Maxey at 9,800, or is that too much?
No. He's 9K, isn't he?
Oh, I'm looking at FanDuel now. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think he's an interesting tournament play at 9,800.
Yeah.
Portland at Utah.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bias or whatever. I do nothing but print money in these Portland games. So I'm going to be in there again, especially with this Utah baloney. You know, I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, I have SaberSim has Kessler and Markin is doubtful, but I don't know if that's true. And the DraftKings in the blurbs doesn't say doubtful; it just says whatever. We'll have to see, but it's a late game, so we might not get that news for a while.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're going to get it early, and that it's probably going to be.
They're both going to be out, you think?
I'm just guessing. If maybe it's not like Utah. Like when LeBron played the other night, he played one night when he was doubtful at one point, and
my hero,
because you're a competitive team. Like Utah doesn't have anything to play for, so if I see a guy is doubtful, I'm just running to the hills and running for the hills. I have no interest in getting involved with the.
But where did you get that doubtful? Where does that come from? Where is it?
So I'm just gonna take a quick look at the injury list this morning. They played yesterday, right? If they played yesterday, I think that they would be doubtful automatically.
Right, but is it?
They didn't play yesterday. I'm sorry.
Is it an official designation somewhere? I don't even see it.
I don't either, but I don't think it was.
It says it in SaberSim, but that you know what I mean. But I just see questionable on my.
They have been playing kind of every other game. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't have it written out. But I'm tend to be inclined to believe it just because it's Utah. And basically anybody who's got a Q tag on Utah has been sitting all year long. So the doubtful makes it even worse. But you're right. I don't know where it came from because I don't see it on Underdog. But I haven't looked everywhere this morning, to be fair. So if I did a little digging, I might.
But the game could be a clown fest. You know what I mean? Like you could get. Like I said, currently I have like 1 billion% Lowry marking it if he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Keontae George, Kessler. I don't know if he plays. I like him. If he doesn't play, whatever. Even Isaiah Collier, and then all those same guys from Portland I like to play, like the Kamara. Even Jeremy Grant doesn't look bad.
So yeah, this is the problem with it if you play the earlier games, because
Yeah,
like, you just have so much potential. I mean, let's pretend for a second that Markkanen and Kessler are out.
yeah.
Filipowski looks like the best value. Will look like the best value on the slate.
Sabah is going to look good regardless, I guess.
Svi Mihailuk, who's currently projected for 5 fantasy points, may end up being in the starting lineup. There's already no John Collins. There's already no Jordan Clarkson. There's already no Colin Sexton. There's already no Taylor Hendricks. They have they have a lot of bodies, but like you're gonna have a hard time selling me that at least 2 players from Utah won't be on a winning lineup,
right?
If there's no Markkanen and
Kessler.
So, and then on the other side, as you mentioned, you have a lot of solid plays for Portland. The Jeremy Grant one is one that, like, he always ends up. I feel every time I want to play, he looks like a good projection play. He ends up sitting out. So I don't know what to do with that. But assuming that he does play, that makes some sense. Klingon, I actually have it pretty much similar down this order. But my favorite is no. Actually, you know what? I think I'd rather try to get to some Avdia as my second favorite behind Grant. I really just like Avdia. I think there's a lot of ceiling there, and the minutes tend to fluctuate a little bit with a lot of these Portland guys. But I'm sort of in on the idea of just stacking up this game, with the exceptions of my other priority guys, which I think Kawhi. I think Zubac's projections too. I don't know if I'm going to get to him. I think the Miami team, and then Anthony Edwards, and then I'll combine it with this game, and that'll sort of be my core. And I can always, late swap along the way. That's sort of where I'm at. There is one more game on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So do you want to touch on that one?
Yeah, I mean, nobody looks that great. I mean, but yeah. You could. Miles Bridges is my hero, but I mean, that was just. I was LaMelo out for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting 12% LaMelo, 12% Sabonis, getting some Levine too. So I'm getting guys from that game, but nothing major.
Yeah, I think that taking a stab at Bridges is totally fine. I mean, he's fine along with just him. I think that you could argue for Nurkic here. The minutes have not been there, but look at his minutes production sheet. I mean, since he's been there, he put 24 in 15 minutes, 26 in 18 minutes, 35 in 18 minutes, 32 in 16 minutes. Like, this guy's like the best fantasy point per minute player in the history of basketball. He did get into foul trouble against that Jokic game, but he was smashing there for a while. He had like 30 in the first quarter or something crazy like that. Anyway, so all of these guys are mildly interesting to me, but realistically, I probably don't do a ton with it. It does feel like a good game environment, and obviously you get some advantage by playing the later stuff because you can swap. But as of right now, it's not like nobody who's a massive priority for me there on FanDuel.
No.
Lay the House says he shipped a couple of small 2-game sets over the weekend. Hey, great to hear, man. Love to hear that. Says thanks for the info. Great to hear. Thanks. Andy says he hit the MMA main slate on FanDuel. Love the videos and your insight sheets. All right, awesome. Great to hear. We love the positive feedback. We also love a thumbs up. Also, guys, check out our packages. As I mentioned every day, they are going to be going up in cost, and there is a lot of great offerings. We're gonna add some more offerings. You're gonna be included. You'll be grandfathered in. But the pricing will be going up soon. I have to give that little disclaimer warning. All right, Sheets, anything else before we get out of here?
No.
All right, good luck to everybody today. I hope you guys crush it. And for those of you site members, I'll see you in Discord, and I'll be posting my content a little later this afternoon when we get a better